Some of these 7 things are cheap and some are expensive, and at least one of these is a dream that might never get to be true, but let's hope so. Number 1 is more quick release plates. I just purchased these quick release plates from Falcam 38. I used to twist and turns on my cameras onto their mounts, and sometimes it made me really not want to use my cameras. Now I can just take my things and just click them into place, and this changes everything for me. And number 2 is I want to fix my USB situation. I have a few USB plugs. They are all marked in blue like USB 3.0. They should theoretically be very fast. 4.8 gigabit per second, 600 megabytes of data transfer per second.
No matter what I do, I can't get more than 38 to 40 megabytes per second.
Less than the USB 2.0 limit, so I'm thinking about getting a Thunderbolt card for my PCE slots. Number 3 is a lens for my Sony a6600, which is the one that is recording me right now. I have not been using this a6600 for anything but really filming myself. I currently have the Sigma 16mm 1.4 lens on it now. I have an old Nikon which we are using as a family camera for taking pictures, but I was thinking like using this camera and upgrading it with maybe a 50mm lens to take photos as well, or maybe instead like really splurging amount of money to finally get my first full frame camera and go for the A7C. Number 4 is a drone. I've just taken the drone certification. This means that now I have to own a drone. I only took the test and I just wanted to see if I could pass it. So now I'm thinking about getting a drone just for fun. Number 5 is headphones for monitoring sound. I'm currently using some old headphones from Skull Candy that honestly should be nearing retirement now. I'm most likely going to buy a pair of Dynamic 770 Pro. I'm going to put it on the screen. I think they would be good for editing, and I could plug them in my Scarlett 2 and 2 here at the front. Number 6 is stabilization. I finally got around to get a great monopod for my cameras, but I don't have any stabilization, and that's mainly because I use the Blackmagic Pocket 4K for recording, and that does not fit very well on gimbals, or so I've researched. If I want to use a gimbal for the Blackmagic 4K, I need a very expensive gimbal, but I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to use this. I have something I want much more instead, and that leads me perfectly to number 7 on my list. Number 7 is my biggest dream. It's what I call the Sony Magic FX Pocket 4K camera. I'm dreaming of a collaboration between Sony and Blackmagic, or even for Sony to acquire Blackmagic. Imagining a camera like the size and the shape of the Sony FX3, maybe a tiny bit bulkier on the snout, so it's a bit of a square. Not this wide and stupid shaped camera like the Blackmagic 4K and 6K. But then imagine this Sony Magic camera had Blackmagic RAW or ProRes RAW, as the Blackmagic cameras does, and the same image quality and dynamic range from Blackmagic. It could be a full frame camera, but it could be Super 35. I don't really care, because I think the sensor, which is a quite small sensor in this Blackmagic 4K, is quite nice. And I even think the small sensor, Super 16 sensor in this Blackmagic original is fine too. Maybe we could do with some little more light, so a Super 35 sensor would be really great for me. For me, it does not need to have more than 4K, maybe 4.6K like the Ursa G2, so we could do a little post-processing, cropping and stabilization. And for stabilization, I would like the gyro and the IBIS and the autofocus from Sony. Of course, you could just turn that off if you still want it in full cinematic mode. And then maybe Sony could get something out of it by putting a Sony lens mount on it, because I doubt that a Canon lens mount would be on a Sony and Blackmagic collaboration. And then for the most important thing, I wanted to be with the Blackmagic menu system. So you could have a Sony camera with all the Sony features, but with 180-degree shutter angle and the same ease of use menus as the Blackmagic Pocket cameras and the Blackmagic RAW as a picture quality. Besides lacking B-RAW, I think the biggest flaw of all the Sony cameras is their outdated menu system, which should have been outdated like a decade ago. And then the gift above them all could be internal NDs. That's why I could see the camera be just a little bit bigger than the Sony FX3 to have those internal NDs. I really want that. Thank you for watching this ridiculous idea. If you enjoyed it, then please consider subscribing. If you look to the side, there is a video of mine that I'm quite sure you will enjoy too. I picked it just for you.